This morning we planted a forest. Planting a forest involves much more than just putting seeds and small trees in the ground. It means creating an environment which is a system of interaction that sustains itself. This is our goal at the GDR Rift, planting many researchers in one of the best environments for interaction, the Maasai Mara University. So, on behalf of the GDR Rift Scientific Committee, I want to deeply thank Professor Alu Obudu, Vice-Chancellor, and Professor Bulitia Godric, Deputy Vice-Chancellor. Their support, their interest, and their sponsorship have been crucial, and they have welcomed us warmly. Together with the scientific committee of this colloquium, we have worked in a great coordination, creating a real international cooperation without any struggle. We have been honest and always ready to negotiate. So once again, on behalf of the scientific committee of the GDR Rift, please accept our heartfelt thanks to the scientific committee of the colloquium, Professor Justus Simiyu, Professor Romulus Abila, Dr. Alois Osano, Professor Olga Otero, Dr. Antoine Souron, my dear friends, Mr. Lanke Risson, who cannot join us today, Dr. Charity Konana, Mr. Bakari Chaka, and Mr. Marjan Abdallah. It's important to mention that Professor Christelle Tiberi, the chair of the GDR, has been the heart of this network and our best problem solver. And despite being a brilliant researcher, she has never shied away from any task, showing great humility and dedication. She's been both the most idealistic of the GDR, driving many of you to join us, and the most practical, handling multiple tasks without any complaints. So please give her a big round of applause. The moderators will help the participants to express their core ideas. My sincere thanks to David Pleurdo, Motoshi Isaac, Sami Mutisia, Jedida Nankaya, Benoît Hazard, Patrick Gouda, Ole Masago, and Samson Mabwoga. Sorry if I misspell a name. All the scientific responsibilities and all the corresponding honorific status given by academic position would be impossible to maintain without many people, hidden in the daily routines, in the endless little tasks, which are fundamental, but which may give few honor and consideration. So please be sure that all the GDR Rift and the scientific committee have a great consideration for Janet, for Catherine, for the other Catherine, for Kelly, Nixon, Mary Moses, Amos, Shakai, Maxwell, Dina, Kitio, Emma, Theophilus, Charity Rotich, and Okombo. There are probably other people involved, and I hope they will forgive me if I forget to mention their names. One of us really had a central role in this colloquium. You might maybe know this kind of guy who anticipate all your needs, handle any task, and always delivers more than expected. And this man is not only a scientist, he's preparing a PhD, but he's also a dedicated and humble worker who quickly become a friend. I can tell you that his future academic employer will be fortunate to have him in his team. So let me give my very warm thanks to Bakari Chaka, who deserves some applause right now. What is it? What is Bakari? You know, he's still working everywhere, always. So he's the guy, so he needs some applause. In 2020, we started our first colloquium by asking, what is a rift? This question of definition was important because despite the apparent clarity of the term, we quickly understood that our various disciplines did not conceive in the same way. For some, it was the core of their work in contemporary geology, while for others, it was merely a trace of the past that had caused environmental changes. For the social science, it didn't mean much. It was indeed difficult to use and to define the rift, especially when it seems irrelevant for understanding aspects such as the Christian kingdoms of Ethiopia, the pastoralism of Nilotic peoples, the public policies of the nation states, and the post-colonial issues. So we did not find a common and consensual definition of the rift. However, we had a really good time and found ways to start working together. We concluded that perhaps it wasn't necessary to have a common vision of the rift to do things together. It could simply serve as a pretext for being together. The second colloquium in 2022 acknowledged this conclusion, which was not a failure, it was a success. We started again with a simple idea. Let's put very different people together in the same place and see what happens. We began to see research projects emerge, a consciousness of being part of a common knowledge, and even some friendship. So the third colloquium today continued this intention, which give a framework, which give opportunities, but which not constrain any specific research. Like an open game reserve, we let people come and go with the only expectation that they will use this safe place to improve their research. Remember, so we provide the frame, you provide the content. So you respect the social coordination, and please be free. Being free while respecting social coordination might be one way to describe pastoralism in East Africa. We mustn't forget that we are here at the Maasai Mara University in a pastoral land, the land of the Maasai people. What better opportunity to try, even just a little, some of the wonderful practices of pastoralism in organizing a conference like this one. Pastoralism involves cycles of moving away and coming together due to seasonal migrations. The rain has been heavy these past weeks, and the livestock roam far from home. And we, thirsty of knowledge, gather here at Maasai Mara University, which serve as our watering holes. For some ritual activity, like this morning, to exchange news of the land and to define our new strategies for movement and gathering. Building a strong network is a pastoral necessity. It is also a scientific necessity. Another specific trait of pastoralist people is their recourse to public debates. These debates, where speakers confront each other, form a kind of democracy. And like in a democracy, we agree to disagree, and no one can exert power over another without first convincing him. At the GDR Rift, we avoid the urge to dominate a scientific field or impose ideas. Democracy, science, and the GDR Rift, also not exactly the same institution, I agree, are spaces for dialogues, spaces to find a common ground, and spaces to kindly contest topics we disagree on. Another trait of pastoral democracies like the Maasai is to respect the elders, but not forget that the warriors are the driving force. Authority and power are held in different hands. In the same way at the GDR Rift, we want students to have a place because we know that our experience and knowledge must be transmitted, but we also want the students, our warriors, to have the capacity to critique and improve the knowledge made by the elders. I'm going to conclude with a more technical note. I want to emphasize 2 points because the success of the colloquium depends on finding the right balance between constraint and freedom. The constraint is straightforward. Please respect your allotted time for presentations. It is short, too short because your results deserve more than 15 minutes. But respecting your times allows everyone else to share their research as well. But this constraint is balanced with the freedom of 5 days of continuous interactions, formal, informal, during breaks, during evenings, on field visit, and even maybe in the bus. So please be as open, engaging, and generous as possible. We have 5 days together, and they will pass very quickly. Make every hour a chance to connect, to discuss, and to create. This morning, we planted a forest, and in a few years, I would love to return here to see how it has grown, just as I hope to see how this event has benefited to all of you. So please connect, discuss, and create. Thank you.